All right, let's dive right into this explainer. Today, we're pulling back the curtain on a really fascinating phenomenon in the online education space by looking at a massive YouTube channel called Career247. What actually happens when the world of professional upskilling collides head-on with international news and military conflict? Well, you get a highly effective yet deeply perplexing digital ecosystem. Let's untangle exactly how a tech tutorial channel somehow became a hotspot for international doomsday news.
And this perfectly illustrates our core mystery today, a total whiplash between a channel's stated professional mission and its actual highly alarmist content. On one hand, they have this official welcome message that's calm, professional, and entirely focused on career growth. But then you see an actual highly viewed title from the exact same channel warning about imminent geopolitical attacks. It's a pretty jarring juxtaposition, isn't it? We really have to ask how these two vastly different concepts ended up sharing the exact same digital roof.
So first up, career guide or conflict reporter. If you look at them on paper, they brand themselves purely as a professional development hub for aspiring tech professionals. If you read their official description, there is absolutely no mention of global news, military analysis, or political commentary. None at all. It reads exactly like a traditional edtech platform, promising to help you learn Python, master data analytics, and ace your next corporate interview. But man, a quick scroll through their recent uploads reveals a totally different story. It's dominated by high-stakes international conflict reporting. We are looking at intense, emotionally charged geopolitical situations, from the Strait of Hormuz to U.S.-Iran relations. Now, as an impartial observer, regardless of the political angles presented, one thing is just undeniable. This is heavy, front-page news material, not a tutorial on how to write code. Which really begs the question, right? What exactly is the primary identity of this 1.76 million subscriber channel? When someone subscribes, what are they actually signing up for? Are they looking for the next step in their career? Or are they tuning in for a daily dose of intense global affairs? The lines are completely blurred here, creating a really fascinating identity crisis. Moving on to the geopolitical view funnel. Okay, you've probably experienced this firsthand at some point. You click on a terrifying headline and suddenly you're being sold a product. The crucial point here is recognizing how extreme global headlines are being used to funnel traffic toward paid tech certifications. By deploying what's known as a bait-and-switch funnel, the channel uses high-emotion, high-urgency topics to gather a massive crowd. And once that crowd is in the room, they're presented with the actual core product, paid educational courses. It's an incredibly aggressive, yet evidently successful marketing strategy. Just look at the sheer scale of the disparity in the numbers. A video discussing global trade choke points nets a massive 781,000 views. But a deeply educational video titled How to Become a Data Analyst, which aligns perfectly with their stated mission, pulls in just 19,000 views. The sensational news content is outperforming the actual educational content by a staggering margin.
And here is the absolute lightbulb moment. 96% of the promotional links in their geopolitical content point straight to paid tech courses. This clearly demonstrates the financial engine of the channel, leveraging millions of news-hungry viewers to sell digital upskilling. If you check the description of a video discussing international protests, you aren't going to find links to political think tanks. Instead, you'll find discount codes for AI and business analytics programs. The news is simply the vehicle. The destination is the checkout cart.
That brings us to the Prashant Dhawan effect. When we actually break down the instructors, it becomes undeniably clear that the channel's viral reach rests almost entirely on one commentator's geopolitical analysis. You have specialized instructors providing really valuable long-form technical tutorials, pulling in respectable but niche numbers. But then there's Prashant Dhawan, presenting global geopolitics, who consistently pulls in upwards of 750,000 views per upload. He is the undeniable anchor, bringing in the massive crowds. Now, 1.76 million. Career247 boasts subscriber count that rivals major edtech platforms. Hitting that number is a monumental achievement, giving them immense reach in the algorithm. But we have to look past the vanity metric and ask what that massive number actually represents in reality. We have to critically ask ourselves, are all these subscribers here for career upskilling, or are they just showing up for Prashant Dhawan's commentary? If a channel has almost 2 million subscribers, but the actual coding tutorials are only getting 10 to 15,000 views, it reveals a pretty fractured audience base. The vast majority of viewers are highly engaged with the geopolitical drama, while only a tiny fraction are sitting down to learn how to code. Next up, Fact-checking corporate partnerships. To build trust, the channel leans heavily on dropping massive tech names to validate their course offerings. By prominently featuring heavy-hitting brands like IBM and Google Cloud in their promotional materials, they instantly grant their paid programs this aura of elite corporate prestige. It signals to students that these aren't just run-of-the-mill tutorials, but serious industry-backed credentials.
But as critical consumers, we've got to wonder, are these exclusive corporate partnerships or just standard public partner programs? Many major tech companies offer open certification programs that literally anyone or any platform can integrate into their curriculum. It's absolutely vital for learners to investigate whether these are bespoke partnerships unique to Career247, or if they are just standard public programs repackaged at the bottom of a massive sales funnel. Let's look at Dissecting Placement Success Stories. Career247 heavily promotes a placement reality playlist, and this is basically their ultimate proof of concept. They showcase students from diverse, sometimes non-technical backgrounds landing really impressive corporate roles, highlighting a commerce student getting into Accenture or engineering students finally finding a breakthrough. These testimonials are incredibly powerful marketing tools. They basically tell the viewer, if they can do it, so can you, as long as you buy our course. But we really need to step back and evaluate this. Do these job placements result purely from the Career247 curriculum, or do the students' prior academic backgrounds play the deciding role? For instance, an engineering student landing a tech job isn't exactly a miracle. They already have the foundational degree. While the supplementary courses absolutely help, it's crucial to untangle the marketing narrative from the reality of corporate hiring practices, which, let's be honest, still heavily favor formal university degrees.
And finally, sensationalism in ed tech. Just listen to some of these titles. End of Iran Tonight, World in Panic Mode. This rapid-fire sequence of fear-inducing titles is the daily reality for a subscriber who is supposedly just looking for career guidance. Words like panic mode and craziest are specifically designed to trigger an immediate fight-or-flight response. If you're a student just trying to figure out data structures, you're forced to wade through a digital environment predicting imminent global collapse. The juxtaposition is just wild and, frankly, a little absurd. You have calm, methodical programming instruction sharing space with international doomsday predictions. On one hand, you have a professional instructor carefully explaining data arrays in NumPy. On the other hand, a completely different presenter is shouting about global conflict in massive all-caps text. It creates a deeply contradictory user experience that blends the quiet focus required for studying with the loud, persistent anxiety of 24-hour cable news. So I'm going to leave you with this provocative thought as we wrap up. As the landscape of online learning evolves, have sensationalism and fear become the ultimate tools to teach us how to code? If an educational platform requires the threat of global conflict just to get eyes on a data science curriculum, what does that actually say about the future of edtech? It's a fascinating, if slightly unsettling reality of how education is packaged today. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and keep asking the right questions.